right, I went to Ames, Iowa, August. It was held August 13th. All of you know the Iowa Caucus, or the Iowa straw poll actually. Caucus comes in February. I took a lot of pictures, but mine honestly were of Santorum, but I can show you some that might be relevant of the different candidates that were there. And the straw poll was started in 1979, and it is sponsored by the Iowa Republican Party. And obviously it's a fundraiser. And it brings like over $2 million to the community. At the same time, they also have the Iowa State Fair, so I mean it's a win-win situation. I see the Iowa straw poll like a fair. I liked it because they had different events going on also, and you've got strange people there.
I know that. I know that.
And how you get to be a part of the Iowa straw poll is you make bids. It's at the Hilton Coliseum, and so outside on the perimeter, the candidates can vote for which spot they want. Ron Paul had the choicest spot, and he bid, now my figures may not be accurate, but approximate. He bid $31,000 for his spot. Now, if you have a candidate that bids on the same spot, whoever ends up having the highest bid, you might have a bidding war.
Oh.
This time they didn't. And so Santorum's was like 11, 15,000 in that range. Now, keep in mind, the height, I'm not at 100% positive on this, but I think this is right, is that $31,000 that Ron Paul bid, that is double, and that's your fee to go into the caucus in February. So now, do you know how much it is for South Carolina, the filing fee?
No.
$35,000.
35,000.
Yes.
1,000.
Yes.
And that's
To be the president, to be voted on. Yes, for South Carolina.
So each of these candidates have to do 35,000 to be a candidate on our ballot.
And
That's correct.
In all states, they have
A different
each
fee.
party has a different fee. Ours
And that's
is
what I was
35.
saying, that's how they come up, I think, with the fee for their caucus is, it'll be $62,000. They took that amount, the highest bid for that lot, and doubled it.
Whoa. It's interesting.
So then, most of those plots are like $11,000, $12,000. So those that were listed, I mean, you saw that, Ron Paul, Santorum, Bachman, Kane, and whoever else was out there. What you then did, I did Santorum, so Santorum had a stage and he had music up there. The other thing is to outdo the other candidate to keep people there. Santorum had hamburgers. The line all day was filled with people, whether they were for Santorum or not, were there for the hamburgers, and they had chips and water. Bachman had corn dogs, cotton candy, and other things. Ron Paul had stuff. Kane, guess what he had? Godfather's.
Barbecue.
No, Godfather's.
Godfather's pizza. I didn't think about it. I was just...
And
Maybe from the
then
South.
ribs was plenty. And so then the voting is $35 a piece to put your vote in.
You mean each individual has to pay $35?
No, there's the catch. That's where the candidates come in and round up their voters and pay for the $35. Except, you'll be glad to know, Ron Paul charged $10 for his votes. So
It's legal to buy votes.
He had to pay
That's right.
he had to pay 35, but he charged the individual 10.
That's
so he only
correct.
paid 25.
That's
That
correct.
was ingenious.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
And so it's a big investment. I don't know, again, the figures, but we know Palenti has dropped out. This straw poll means nothing, except that it's in the news. They had over 800 media people there from China, Japan, United States, all over. So it attracts news, it attracts 14,000 voters, but that's not a whole lot because there are 608,000 Republicans registered to vote in Iowa. But you had over 14,000 people voting. So then they have buses. Each candidate has buses from across the state busing people in to vote. And the key is to funnel them to make sure that they get up to the Coliseum to vote. And so what we did is we handed out tickets after they come in on the bus, then the golf cart brings them over to your area, you hand out their tickets, and get them to line up. And voting's like from 10 to 4. At noontime, each candidate has an opportunity to speak, those that have had purchased a lot out there. And so the other thing is you've got the other candidates coming in trying to distract your folks.
Do you really have
Oh,
those
yeah.
needs?
Yes.
See, why don't we do something like that here?
And,
Excitement,
well,
adventure.
Lynn Bennett's looking at that for Charleston. So, like, I was like Santorum's wing person. I kept the sign around him as he walked around to make sure that one of the other candidates' folks didn't get in there. And I mean, that's the key and it's neat. And then the other interesting thing is people really want t-shirts. And I had, towards the end of the day, someone said, if you want my vote, I need a t-shirt. Well, obviously we were out of t-shirts by 2 o'clock. I mean, if you want something like that, you need to get there early. I said, I don't have one. He says, well, then you don't have my vote. That was
Nifty of him.
snippy,
wasn't it?
but it's interesting, t-shirts become popular at that time. Ron Paul had a slide, one of those long slides you come down, so there's entertainment. Santorum opened his event with a bagpipe, and we walked from one area and walked with the bagpipe to his area. That attracted people. And then you have other booths, NRA, pro-life, conservative women, and they are giving out. So it's like a mini fair. It's great, and you can just walk around.
Okay, Miss GOP over there, let's have a look, give them ideas in.
So that's the gist of it. Again, Plenty put in, they say, over $1 million for Iowa. And so, needless to say, he didn't have money after that. He came in third. But because of him not having a lot of money, he put a lot into Iowa. That's why he pulled out. So that sometimes is what,
$1 million.
yes, to make a break. Santorum may have put in 150, I have no idea, but he didn't put in a whole lot. He did go up there to campaign a lot before the event.
Did he take his family up there?
Yes.
Ahead of time?
Move the
Yeah.
family up there. The other thing is keep in mind, I give you that ticket. That's no guarantee that you're going in there. And we'd have Ron Hall folks come over and say, I want to vote, I need a ticket. And so again, you have people trying to take your tickets. And the only thing is we had a list of who had said they would. And if you said you voted for Santorum, of course we gave you a ticket. And so that's how the tickets, and they all look the same, so they weren't allotted that you knew already. And once you went in there to vote, then they did that indelible ink, I think it was blue this year, to show that you voted. They required voter ID. Republican Party pays for everything, so there's no cost to the taxpayer.
So when you went up, you weren't eligible to vote up there?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I didn't,
No,
you
it's a
said
good
they
question.
bused them from just around the state.
That's correct.
Eligible voters.
That's correct.
Okay.
How much did the Ron Paul campaign spend?
Oh, over $1 million. He could, a lot of money went into that one.
Yeah.
So, that's the gist of it. And we all know, I can pass this around, will show how people have placed in the past. But typically, that person who has won has not gone on to win the election.
Yeah.
How come you won last cycle?
Right.
Well,
Who did you see, young lady?
With
it
those,
was, I remember with that, and then it was that South Carolina with Huckabee, it was, they blame, now this is over with, so I'm just gonna make these statements, okay? They had claimed that Romney kept, that Huckabee kept Romney from winning. Yes, from winning South Carolina. But if you look